I used to have between 70 and 80 tasks on my weekly to-do list every single week. Let me ask you something. Do you think I got all those done? If you're a content creator and you're drowning in a sea of unfinished tasks and your to-do list always seems ridiculously long, this ends here. In this video, we'll go through 4 of the best ways that you can reduce the amount of tasks on your to-do list as a content creator without sacrificing impact. A lot of people these days have a pretty warped relationship with their to-do list. Like, we love seeing it and feeling like we're on top of things at the start of the week, but then the end of the week comes and a hefty bunch of them are still unticked. The reason I'm making this video is because I have so been there. And I'm guessing a lot of the things you're working on were supposed to be the portal to your new life, a new level of freedom, or simply an outlet for you to completely embrace your passions. And somewhere along the way, it's turned into you just being a constant content machine. So what are we going to do? We're going to go through a process that will allow you to reduce your to-do list so that it doesn't have to feel as gick. Here are 3 reasons why it's so flippin' important to reduce what's on your to-do list. First things first, overwhelm. There is nothing more demotivating than a to-do list that has so much on it. You have no idea where to start, and you don't even know if it's possible to get it all done in a week. It is so overwhelming. Remember, the more tasks you add, the less desirable it is to get any of it done. And that's not how being a content creator is supposed to feel. Reason number 2, you will procrastinate. I don't care how dedicated you are. Our psychology is totally working against us on this one. Even when you do sit down to go get some solid work done, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, is there even a point? Because where previously 1 hour of your work would allow you to complete 8% of your to-do list, now 1 hour of your work only allows you to finish 5% of your to-do list. So even if you do finish a task, it doesn't feel like any more than getting nothing done. And when those are the thoughts in the back of your mind, you will go off into a daze looking out the window. Okay, you will open that extra tab to check the weather in a country you're traveling to soon. You will find yourself in a hefty TikTok scroll loop. And reason number 3, increased multitasking. When you have too much on your to-do list, your brain does this weird thing where it forgets everything anyone's ever told you about multitasking and how that decreases the amount you get done. And suddenly you find yourself switching between Canva on your laptop screen, an Instagram story draft on your phone, and a script for a YouTube video in another tab. And you convince yourself in that moment that you can actually get little chunks of each done when the others are loading. I laugh because I've totally done this, and all this does is leave you totally frazzled and off your game for the day, and it's just not a productive way to be. I used to have between 70 and 80 tasks on my weekly to-do list every single week. Let me ask you something. Do you think I got all those done? Hell no, not once did I get all of that done. And I was constantly overwhelmed because I always had way more unfinished tasks than finished by the end of the week. I thought I was going to lose my mind until my boyfriend challenged me one week to cut the to-do list in half. He said, okay, for next week, you can only have a maximum of 35 tasks on the list. When I say I looked at him like he had just asked me to ride a unicycle across a tightrope while juggling flaming swords and singing the national anthem, like, no. But something seriously interesting happened here. I was forced to prioritize what was actually important. I didn't fill all the cracks with this busy work that wasn't actually going to move the needle forward. I just had to focus on the important things. And it really did open my eyes to how much extra crap I had been shoving in there. And guess what happened to my productivity after that? It skyrocketed. Listen, I'm sure if I asked you to remove what's not important from your to-do list, you probably wouldn't end up removing much because it all seems important. So let's fix this today. Strategy 1, the 80-20 rule. So first things first, I want you to use the 80-20 rule. This is a game changer for you as a content creator with so much on your plate, all this means is there are about 20% of your tasks that make up 80% of your results, which, sorry, can we take a moment for that? Because that means such a small fraction of your to-do list holds the key to propelling you forward on your content creation journey, whether it's growing your audience, increasing your income, increasing your engagement, whatever the most important metric is for you at this particular moment in time. These are the tasks to focus most of your effort into, and that absolutely need to stay. Take a moment now to reflect on your own to-do list. Which tasks fall into that crucial 20% category? I'll use a part of my to-do list for this week as an example, okay? So here are 5 things on my to-do list this week. And this is in no particular order, by the way. First of all, to create this YouTube video, send a letter off to get a tax refund, write the copy for my sales page, script a batch of videos for my super secret project, send an email to my list. Okay, so with the 80-20 rule and 5 tasks, only one of these tasks will yield 80% of my results. And whichever one falls into that category really depends on your main targets right now, your main focus. So my main focus right now is getting my super secret project up and running. So what's most worth my while out of these tasks is actually batch scripting videos for that. At another point in time, the most important thing would have been this video. Obviously, you're seeing this video, so I did actually get them scripted, and I am actually filming some today while I have my equipment set up. Side note, as a creator, this is something to really think about. Another way to get more done in less time. It takes me a while to set up my equipment and get all dolled up for filming, so I don't want to waste all that effort on just one video. Whenever I can batch film, I will. Anyway, that's a whole other topic, but just to demonstrate the workflow a little bit. And look, I'm not saying that 80% of the tasks that don't fall into the most effective category should be fully deleted from your to-do list, but definitely filter through them and be super honest with yourself with what is actually important to get done and to get done this week. Because some of them might just be like a next month or a next week thing. As one thing about us, we love thinking that we can do it all, but if you come to terms with the fact that you won't get it all done, that is where you can really start to be effective. Strategy 2, prioritize. So, even when you reduce your task list significantly, you still want to focus your time and energy on the most important first. How I like to do this is to go through my task management software, which for me is Asana, my beloved, and physically put the tasks in order with the most important at the top. And as the list goes on, it gets kind of less and less important. It's like less of a big deal if those things at the bottom don't get done. I know then that if something at the top of my list doesn't get done, it actually impacts the results I do or don't get. But if something at the bottom of the list doesn't get done, it's not going to have the biggest impact. It might have a tiny little knock-on effect, but it's definitely not the end of the world. So rather than randomly picking tasks to do out of your hoo-ha, you know the best order to work through them as the week moves on. The next strategy I have for you to maintain a more reasonably sized to-do list is to filter new tasks. Oh my God, I wish I'd known about this earlier. Don't just add any old thing to your to-do list every time you get a new idea. I mean, Jesus, Janice. You should view your to-do list as backstage at a concert. Restricted access. Not everyone gets in. Only the VIPs and those who make things run a lot smoother can get in. This will save you from shiny object syndrome because, wow, what a way to make a 1-year journey a 5 or more year journey. So how do we do this? How do we filter new tasks that come in? Ask yourself a series of questions, okay? Will this task directly contribute to my brand's main goals right now? Audience growth, engagement, income, whatever. Do I have the necessary resources, time, skills, tools to complete this task effectively? Can this task be batched with another task to avoid loss of time through task switching? Can this task be outsourced without compromising quality? Does this task align with my long-term brand vision and values? And if I commit to this, what's my return on investment plan? So when you answer these, it'll all become a lot clearer how worth your time something is. If you bring yourself through this and you're like, oh my God, like what? It's almost pointless to even answer this question because the question doesn't apply because it's so not worth it, then you'll know. You'll know. And strategy 4, outsourcing. So obviously, if you're in a position to delegate or outsource tasks, do that. Do that, because then you don't even have to do the task at all. Like, you literally, it comes straight off your to-do list. But don't just go and outsource any old thing, okay? The tasks to outsource first as a content creator should be the ones that are, first of all, time consuming as but don't necessarily need you to do them. A great example of this is editing or research even. I will say though, when I started out, I found that everyone was saying outsource, but it just wasn't a financial priority for me. There were other things I much preferred to invest my time in, like upskilling, coaching, and so on. But it is becoming more of a priority for me now. All I'll say is if you do decide to outsource, don't raw dog it, okay? Don't assume that your freelancer or whoever understands exactly what you want. You want to make it so abundantly clear that it would make sense to anybody. So how do you do that? Write them an SOP, standard operating procedure, of exactly the process you want them to go through. Yeah? The step-by-step guidelines for them to follow. I've made this mistake before of not creating an SOP, and the result I got from what I outsourced was just an absolute nightmare, and I ended up having to redo the whole thing by myself anyway. So I didn't just waste time, I wasted time and money. So it was like bit on both ass cheeks. So to conclude, this is how you're going to become more effective by simply having less on your to-do list as a content creator. First things first, use the 80-20 rule to help you throw the unnecessaries in the bin. Number 2, prioritize. Put your remaining tasks in order of importance. 3, filter any new tasks that come in to get super clear on whether it's worth your time or not, because you know your time is limited. And 4, outsource the big time-consuming tasks that don't necessarily require you to do them. So if you found this video helpful, drop a like on this video and let me know in the comments which of these you're going to implement first. And do make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on my future videos to help you as a content creator get more done and free up your time. And to continue your education on all of this good stuff, check out this video on the screen now on how to maximize your potential with your habits. While you do that, I'll be working on even more juicy videos for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.